Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. My name is Melissa Joyce. If you have not yet joined me before, if this is the first video you are watching, thank you so much for joining me today. And if you have watched my videos before, thank you so much for coming back and watching another review. Today we are going to be talking about a mask. And if you are watching this on the day that I posted it, it is Friday. I think it's a nice lead-in to the weekend to talk about a relaxing spa type product that you might want to use on your weekend. And that mask that we are talking about today is the Vichy Pore Purifying Clay Mask. I have reviewed a Vichy mask before. That one was the brightening one. I will put a link to that review in the description bar down below. So what I'm going to do today is test out this mask. I'm going to use it on half of my face so I can look at the difference between the two. I am going to start by talking a little bit about the company, then a bit about the product, and then I will get into the testing. If you are looking to just skip forward to another part of this video, I will put timestamps in the description below. And let us start talking about Vichy. As a company, Vichy has been around for over 80 years. They were founded in 1931. Their ideal when they were first founded is that they looked at the skin as a vital organ requiring true scientific rigor and dedicated medical research to maintain and enhance beauty. So everything that they do has information about why clinically this should be doing something for your skin. Their star ingredient in all of their products is their Vichy thermal water. Vichy is actually an area in France, in central France, and it is a volcanic region that has hot springs. There is water that is forced through this mineral rock. It is warmed up and forced through with pressure, and it pulls all kinds of minerals out with it. There have been hot springs in Vichy that have been recognized for its skin benefits for way back to the Celts, I think, but also back to Roman times. People recognize the benefits of these hot springs in toning down the redness of skin, in healing benefits. So Vichy in France has quite a history of the water being used in this way and building up different baths and springs, and just a very long history of all kinds of people, not only in France, but from around the world, coming to use these thermal baths. They say that the thermal water has 15 rare minerals and that these minerals help with soothing, protection, regenerating, and are antioxidant. The product that I'm going to be talking today about, and I think a lot of their products are made in France, and I think that this is something that has some merit to it. There's a long history behind it. It makes sense that the water that comes out of a volcanic thermal rock at a high temperature would have different minerals and properties in it. So I do think that there is some merit behind it having good doing good things for your skin. The product that we're going to be talking about today is the Pore Purifying Clay Mask. They have three kinds of masks that are all sort of sold in the same 75 milliliter tub. There is the clay mask, which is for your pores and for pulling out oils as we are using today. There is also the purifying mask that I've used before. And third of all, there is a moisturizing mask. Now, if you buy any of these products full size, they are going to be $35 Canadian or $20 American. But what I have been doing in my reviews is that you can actually get testers of it. So you get two 6 milliliter samples packaged together, or at least you do in my drugstore in Canada, Shoppers Drug Mart for those of you looking, and it is $6.50 Canadian. I'm not sure how much it is American, but you get a chance to try out the mask products before buying a full size. So this mask in particular, the clay mask, claims to purify and refine pores. It has kaolin and bentonite clay in it, and it also has aloe vera to soothe and hydrate, as well as their thermal water, which is to strengthen your skin and make it healthier looking. It is claiming to not dry out the skin and also has a lightly minty fragrance to it. It is paraben free, and one of the nice things about Vichy in looking through their website is they have a section on efficacy. So basically, how effective is this mask in doing anything? And there's a little bit of it that is survey based, which is not super scientific, because I know I always feel like I've done something awesome for my skin after using a mask, even if it really doesn't provide any benefits, but they tell you the efficacy based on their research and based on surveys, both immediately after using the mask, but also after people have used it long term. And they do suggest that you use this mask twice per week if you want to see the ongoing benefits. I'm going to read this off the website so that I get it correct. So basically they surveyed 78 women and they said that after immediately using the mask, 87% said their skin felt purified, 91% said their skin feels clean and appears more clear, and on a more scientific basis, it did say that the skin is more mattified, and they say that they tested it on 24 women with a sebameter to test the sebum in your skin, and basically there was 47% less serum after 2 hours, I think, when they had the mask on versus women who did not use the mask. So there is a little bit of scientific basis about this, you pulling some of the sebum or oils off of your skin or reducing the sebum production a little bit in your skin after immediately using the mask. In terms of long-term application, they looked at it after women used the mask 2 times per week for 4 weeks. 83% said that their pores are less visible, 79% says there are less visible imperfections, and 92% said that dirt and pollution particles are perfectly eliminated. Now, everything in there except for the sebameter one is really about how you feel after using the mask, so it doesn't actually say that it is making your skin cleaner or reducing imperfections. It's about whether these women felt like their skin felt cleaner or had fewer imperfections. So I believe that is everything I have to say about the company and about the product. What I'm going to do now is show you me using the mask and then give you my final thoughts at the end of this video. My face has been washed and I've got my hair pulled back in these weird clips and things, and it's time to put the mask on half of my face. This is the little pouch that it comes in when you buy the sample. Each one of these is 6 milliliters. So I'm going to separate these. I have my flat foundation brush here that I'm going to use to put it on. I don't use flat foundation brushes for foundation, but I do find that I like them for spreading on masks. It smells like how you would expect a clay mask to smell, with kind of a nice fresh scent added in. It's a very light color and is very thin and smooth, as opposed to some clay masks that feel very gritty. I should really bring a mirror in with me and not try to do this in the viewfinder. Ow. It smooths out very easily. Like, some clay masks are really thick and it feels like you really have to use quite a bit of product to get a layer over your face. I'm gonna try to concentrate it in my oilier areas, so like my T-zone and then also where I have pores, which is really right here. I can feel it starting to tingle already. Not burn or anything, but tingle in that sort of mask drying kind of feeling. Okay. There we go. Just gonna add a little bit more on. In that area, make sure I get around my nose. But that's what it looks like, a very, very smooth, very thin, fresh smelling, bluish tinge kind of clay mask. I'm supposed to let this dry for 3 to 5 minutes. You don't need to sit here and watch clay dry. I feel like that's the beauty equivalent of watching paint dry. So I will be back when this is all dried up and show you what it looks like at that point and let you know what it felt like through the process. The mask has now dried down, which is why I'm speaking kind of funny. It's all dry. It took far longer than 3 to 5 minutes for the entire mask to dry. Now, it may be that you don't need to wait for it to get dry before taking it off, before it has the benefits, but I don't know about you, I find it, like, I want a clay mask to completely dry when I wear it because that's what feels like it is pulling all the impurities out of my skin. So I initially set my timer for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, only the very light areas where I had it on were dry. So I then set a timer to see how long it would take to dry all the way, and in the last 5 minutes I was getting kind of impatient, so I was fanning my face. Basically this area right here where I built it up the most took a lot longer to dry, and it actually took a full 25 minutes for the thickest parts for everything in this mask to dry. It did not burn or tingle in any way. It just gets that very satisfying clay tightening feeling. And it still feels very thin, and it hasn't, the only place it's really cracked is a little bit around my mouth, and I'll just zoom you in to show you. So you can see, I mean, now that I've started talking, it's cracked a little bit, but by and large, it's just very smooth, and in fact, almost wrinkles a little bit when you press it. So if you are using this mask and you do want it to dry all the way, as I do when I wear clay masks, give yourself about 25 minutes for it. So what I'm going to do now is go and wash off my face and see if I feel much of a difference from the side that has the mask on to the side that has not. I've got the mask all washed off, and it came off very easily with just some mildly warm water, basically just rubbing it on there until it became a bit of a, liquid, or it doesn't crack or flake off. It basically, you rub it and it becomes a little liquefied again, and it all comes off pretty easily. So I'm looking if I can see much of a difference between the side of my face with the mask and the side of the face without. I do feel a little bit like maybe the side that had the mask feels more moisturized than the side that did not. And I feel a little bit like if I look closely, I can still see my pores here, but not as prominently up here as I can on this side of my face. I also noticed, and I don't know if it's just because I didn't look quite as closely at my face before I put the mask on, that I noticed two tiny little whiteheads on my face. And I don't know if those were there before, if perhaps the clay mask sort of was pulling things to the surface. I'll zoom in and see if I can show you the pores, because I feel like that's maybe where I can see most of a difference. Too close. Okay. The side with the mask. The side without the mask. I feel like there's pores visible about here on both sides, but there's a little bit more pores up here, and it's a little tighter on this side of my face. However, I always feel with these masks like I'm really looking for a difference, like I want there to be a difference, so some of it may be a little bit in my mind as well. What I'm going to do now is use the rest of the mask on the other side of my face. I'm going to do that off camera just to balance my skin out a little bit, and then I will wash that off, put my makeup on, and be back here to give you my final thoughts. Back after using the mask on the other side of my face and then putting all my makeup on. It took a little while because the fire alarm went off in my building. But here are a few thoughts. First of all, I used way less than half of the product on the first side of my face. I had so much left over for the second half. There is 6 grams of product per one of these little pouches, but I would say to actually do your entire face, you probably only need about 4 grams because I definitely did not need the entire amount that they gave me in this package. I really liked the smell of it. I really liked how smoothly it went on my face. I don't mind that it took a while to dry. Like, you probably want to give yourself 25 minutes to a half hour for this mask, but for me, having a mask on is sort of a relaxing experience, and if a mask is only supposed to sit on your face for 3 minutes, it doesn't really feel like it's giving me that end of day relaxing kind of vibe that I actually do want from a mask. So for me, having it dry in that 25 to 30 minute mark isn't necessarily a bad thing. I do feel like I saw some pore tightening visuals from using the mask. Again, whether that is kind of all in my head or not, I don't know, but it did make me feel like I was pulling impurities out of my skin, and I do like the feeling that clay gives as a mask because of that drying and tightening feeling. The product itself is 75 milliliters, and if you are using only about 4 grams of product per application, and again, that's all over your entire face, you're going to use this about 20 times. And considering it's $20 American, it's $1 American per mask. In Canada, it's about $1.75 because it's $35 for us to buy the product. But that is inexpensive for a mask application. So if you are only paying $1 or $2 per mask application, and it only says that you're supposed to do this twice a week, you're going to get a lot of use out of this. I would also say, because there are 3 masks in this series, there is a moisturizing, there is a brightening, and there is the clay one. These are perfect products for multi-masking. They all dry in about the same amount of time, although the clay one does last longer, but I personally don't think there's any drawback to having the other ones on your skin for longer. So you would be able to use perhaps the clay one in your T-zone and just onto your pores, and then the moisturizing one, you know, around the perimeter of your face or perhaps onto your neck. And if you have the moisturizing and the clay one together, then you can vary them. Perhaps in the winter you want more moisture on your face, and in the summer you want to use more of the clarifying. I think there's a lot of ways you could use these, and compared to some masks that I've seen where they are quite expensive for what you're getting, I think this is a really good value. I mean, if I go and buy a sheet mask, I'm pretty excited if it costs, you know, less than $5 Canadian. The least expensive I've seen is maybe $3 for a sheet mask. So you are actually getting a very inexpensive mask treatment if you buy the full-size product of this. And they do have these little samples, or at least in Canada at my drugstore they do. So go and buy yourself a couple. I mean, in Canada you get 2 uses for $6.50, I think this costs, so it's just a little over $3 to try out the mask and get a couple of uses out of it to see if you like it. So in my opinion, I really like these masks. I think they are both well priced. I think it's great that you get samples of it. I really like how they give you some very scientific-ish, I mean, I know some of it is surveys and that kind of thing, but there is a little bit more depth to what they are saying it does and having some information to back that up. So if you are in the market for a mask product, and I also do like with these kinds of masks that you can move around and do things while they set. With sheet masks, a lot of times you feel like if you do too much or move around or do things, it's going to fall off, you're going to have issues with it, and you don't when it's masks like this. So these are good products. I really like the 2 out of 3 Vichy masks that I've tried so far. I think I'm interested in getting the 3rd one and trying that out as well. I've done the brightening, I have done the clay, and the next one will be the moisturizing one. So good products all around. It's a big thumbs up from me, and I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please consider giving me a thumbs up. If you have other masks that you would like me to try, or other Vichy products that you would like me to try, or other things that you have tried that you want to let me know how it has worked for you, leave it in the comments down below. I respond to every comment that I get. I hope you are having a wonderful day. If you have not yet subscribed, you can click on the subscribe button, which is, I think, maybe down here if you're on a laptop, to subscribe to my channel. I do about 3 reviews per week, and then on the weekend I do my Money Honey series, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!